Aloha. Uh, Today I wanted to make a video in reference to a dream that I had, which is the most intense dream that I've had to date. Um, Today was my brother's birthday, and I've had dreams. He's passed now, a year, almost a year. And I wanted to catalog, not only share this dream, but catalog this dream and also expand upon this reality as a whole, dreams, where they fit, experience, because this is what I learned from this dream, and this is another way to explain the whole dream reality and the conscious reality, the waking state reality, and what that relationship is, on at least on one level, because it's so complex. I mean, it's basically like understanding. There's not even any words for it, but from my perspective, dreams have been very helpful in the grieving process, helpful in the growth process, and just as you can understand, connecting with your ancestors or your guides or your angels in psychedelic experiences, you can also have these same experiences or interact in these realms of reality from the dream space, because it's largely about like what the Eye of Horus here represents. When people just see the eye or whatever, and they see it some kind of way, and they feel whatever kind of way based upon the backwards, upside down magicians have sold it to you as, instead of realizing the depths of what it really means and what all of the hieroglyphics in ancient Kemet actually represented in Peru and Mexico and all over the realms of what we're really experiencing as our sensory perspectives in a conscious reality. It's the relationship between the stars and your dreams. It's really about senses, sensories, like the way you sense your experience. And in the civilizations who have interpreted their reality to the depths of attuned in to nature consciousness, not attuned into a normal consciousness. There's a difference between being normal and natural. The natural consciousness isn't based upon alchemy and understanding of both the spirit and the scientific perspectives of the physical reality, but what that relationship really is. So when you're looking into this, is why all this stuff is demonized and people look at it a certain way and feel a certain way and act a certain way or whatever, because they don't understand that the world that is normal today is a different world, literally, than the natural world that the conscious beings were connected to in our blood, in our genetics, in our ancient past, in our recent past, in our present moment. When you go into the perspectives of the cultures that are still existing and holding these frequencies today, when you understand that the Hopi outside of the Grand Canyon are still dancing today. Every year they dance with the harmonics and the cycles of nature, of spirit. This stuff never went away. It just hasn't been televised. It hasn't been spoken about or taught in these schools on purpose. Because if you start understanding alchemy, you will start to understand the alchemy that you have been subject to, which is the half-assed version of reality that's being sold to you as a full version of reality, called the scientism program. All these professors, the university system, politics, capitalism, this idea of democracy, this idea of nationalism, this idea of NASA, these theories of gravity, the theory of relativity, the Big Bang theory, the evolution theory. This is all, at best, half of your alchemical reality. At best. Because it's maxing out at science. This is what all these meathead professors and people who back up that reality, they're all about sensory experiences based upon the physical reality. But you have senses in your spirit. Your soul has a sense of reality. And the bridge between that, this physical reality, and your maximum soul experience, sensory experience, is your dream space. And what I realized in this dream, the main thing that I woke up with is, and I'll get to it because it came at the end of the dream, is that when you experience your reality solely from an emotional perspective, you are actually more dense than the physical body, because you are adding density to your thought processes, which are actually supposed to lighten you up, because your thought is your bridge to your soul. But if you add density with emotion to your thoughts, then you will densify your entire experience, because your body is already subject to the dense frequency of the physical reality. And that's a basic nature. Like, human nature on the physical reality is very basic. If you add density and weight and being critical with your thoughts, being caught up in emotional spirals with your thoughts, then that is adding etheric density to your thought process, which is a step backwards from reconnecting with your soul, because you are now adding another reality that you are using the experience of thought and emotion to work against you rather than work for you, because you can learn from your emotions. There's information there. You can learn from your thoughts. There's information there that exists when you interpret from a soul perspective. That's what these senses are all based upon. This is what the basic, the understanding of the eye in this representation, the Horus, an ancient god of Egypt, and is usually depicted as a falcon, the eye of Horus. Ra, sometimes called and turned into the left eye of the right, can be turned to left and to the right. The left eye represents the moon and the god Jehudi, or Thoth. And the right eye is the eye of Ra, and associated with the sun. The symbol is worn to protect evil spirit, to protect from evil spirits, and for protection. The name Wajet derives from the word Wach, that means green, and the green one was known by Greeks and Romans as the risen one. The risen one. Wajet was the central element of the 7 bracelets found on the Mami Shoshenk II, and was intended to protect the king in the afterlife. So, on the alchemy perspective of understanding what this is about sensing your reality for protection in your life when you are in your conscious waking life, and protection in the afterlife. Protection through your senses, your smell, your sight, your thought, your hearing, your taste, your touch, to experience your reality, and also to be aware of how their reality can affect you in a certain way. You think a certain thing. Everything that you do first is manifested in a thought. If you are subject to your emotions, then that will mess with your thoughts. You will densify your reality. So when all of these are in tuned, by understanding the relationship between the physical reality and the non-physical reality, the soul space, and you see it from the perspective of the soul space, then you will experience you will experience your reality with more senses. You will smell more. You will see more. You will think more. You will hear more. You will taste more. Everything will taste better. You will feel more. Everything gets richer. This is why everything, the arts are taken out of the system. This is why cannabis is criminalized. This is why psychedelics are criminalized. This is why all this stuff is, because you need to be dumbed down into a state of normalization in a half-assed reality in order to be enslaved. And one of the big parts of going back to one of my first videos that I did where I was speaking on flat earth and the Mandela effect and all that stuff is talking about the dreams being actually more important than anything that we're talking about. Anything that we're sharing, it's mostly because everything is from the inside out. So if you don't have a relationship with yourself, one version of yourself, which is your dreams, then how could you even understand or interpret anything that's happening in your physical reality if you don't understand who and what you are from one level, from one focused perspective of your dreams? Some people don't understand, like the majority of people, it's normal to not know what dreams are from a soul perspective, or what, or even have a relationship, or even care about your dreams in the physical reality. That's normal, but that's not natural. When you go into the ancient cultures and just basic understanding of your reality, like you sleep 8 hours of the day, a third of your life, you're dreaming, you have dreams, you have experiences, you have information coming through there. So you just don't you disconnect yourself from a third of your reality, in a sense, by even consciously not even being open to what that world is. And it's really kind of simple to think that doesn't affect your conscious reality. It's a reason why this stuff doesn't get spoken about. It's a reason why this stuff is taboo. Like, you can't just go in anywhere and start talking about your dreams. People be like, "Oh man, you're weird," or something like that. Like, it's too natural, and what's too natural is actually abnormal in a normalized society. And if you are abnormal in a normalized society, then you're basically an outcast. And this is why it's easy to stay normal. It's easy to stay with the status quo, because all your friends are there. That's what it's all about. But and since we're surrounded by our friends, we're thinking we having more of an experience because we are sensing our reality based upon the surroundings of our friends. Social media, the sensories, the sense, being able to see only with our eyes and having our reality based upon only our physical reality, our eyes. This is what the social media, the internet, the television does. It flickerates your reality to make you believe your reality is only based upon your two physical eyes. And that's actually shutting your first eye, not your third eye. Your first eye, we call the third eye. That's first. Second comes your physical eyes. Just as before you get to see anything, you have to first, before you get to do anything, you have to first think about it. So before you see anything, you have to first perceive what that is. It's all happening in the ethers first. So in this, that was just a precursor to the dreams, to set the foundation to this dream that I'm getting ready to share with you, because it really, the relationship that I have with my brother, both of my brothers who passed recently, the dreams have really helped me out, like, because I've had some very intense learning experiences, and I learn from trends a lot of the time too. Like, so, and this, like reoccurring dreams and stuff like that. Like you see over time. So a lot of people get overwhelmed when they get a dream and then try to remember a dream and they try to understand it like today, like from today. Like, no, you might interpret a dream or feel or like when you read your dream journal, you're gonna interpret a dream 6 months from now completely different than you did 6 months ago, or today, or whatever it is. It'll be completely different, and that difference is actual growth. You can see who you are, what you were, what's going on, different perspectives. Not only that, is you'll be able to tie that into other dreams between then and now, and understand a whole nother storyline that you didn't even see before. But we get so caught up in our immediate reality that we don't understand. We want everything right now. We're caught up in this microwave reality where everything has to be like shrink wrapped, stuck in the microwave. Get that top ramen, get that burrito out of that microwave, put that burrito and that top ramen like in your mouth and just be full. That's what you're experiencing. That's what's normal. Because we're caught up in the flicker rate of the television, of the microwave, of the time clock, the system of time and space that is outside of the soul and consciousness as a whole. This is how we are living in a different version of our reality, and not sensing our reality from the depths of our maximum potential, but actually just being subject to it. Just like I said earlier, when you are subject to your emotions, completely enveloped in that, you're actually adding density. So this is like goes back to the de-evolution program where I was talking about transhumanism. And it's obvious to see how that's a de-evolution program when you see that if you're basing your reality on what a computer is, what your computer version of you is, then who are you? Then what are you? What are your capabilities naturally? See, when you disconnect from what is natural, that's the only way you can understand yourself and think that you are who you are based upon what is normal. And what is normal is to see yourself through the eyes of a computer, through the eyes of a robot and a microchip. Because that's what's being flickerated into your reality on a regular basis to make you think about who and what you are. It's not. It's an illusion. It's a normalization illusion, an enslavement program illusion based upon the separation from your entire reality as a whole. This goes back to the globe model and that whole thing. And they can only defend that shit from their egos because they have no proof of anything. They only have theories and bully mentality, egos, and ad hominem attacks. That's it. Anytime you start looking into the flat earth stuff or any kind of alternative earth realities outside of the spherical mumbo jumbo that's out there, then you will be hit with, oh, you're crazy, or you're this and you're that. That's that adolescent mentality. This is high school. These are high school magicians trying to keep you locked into the physical reality and keep you separated from your soul so you don't sense your reality and de-densify yourself into a lighter version of yourself, tap into your light bodies and actually experience this physical reality balanced with your soul to its maximum potential. That's a different world. Literally, it's a different world. These magicians, when they manipulate your mind, just like I said, you can't do anything until you think about it first. So if the magicians have manipulated your mind to see things, to sense things, to smell things, to feel things, to think things, to hear things a certain way, then that's actually manifesting the physical reality based upon how you've perceived it, based upon the magicians who set up those perceptions for you to begin with. That is how the collective consciousness is actually being shifted backwards. And this is what the local news and the mainstream media is all based upon, locking you into this self-destructive illusion of the military-industrial complex, the prison-industrial complex, all this arson and murders and kidnappings and all this shit on the local news. It makes you densify your reality, emotionally exist in your experience, and add density to your thought process instead of adding clarity to your experience and your sensory process. And then when you add in the fact that naturally you are going up and down, up and down, up and down based upon the waves, like the tides of creation, the tides of experience, that just adds, that's like Mother Nature adding another wave of what the fuck to your reality that's already hard enough to experience through being so dense in your physical body, then to be dense even further because your emotions and your thoughts are dense. It's like a triple, hey, kitty, kitty, kitty. That's my friend just walked by. So, yeah, so we're dense on every level. You can see science is based upon blocks, just like a blockhead reality. 1 + 1 = 2. Like, oh, you did it, Bobby. Good job. You can go to 2nd grade now. Get the fuck out of here, you little fucking piece of shit, asshole kid. Like, they don't care about these kids in school. That's for discipline. It's for obedience, conformity. They're pumping out robots, and then you just become a mechanized or a mechanized robot. When you go into the university system or the military, it doesn't matter. You're ready. You've locked yourself into the emotional grid by the television, the politics of school, the politics of the teachers, the way kids interact with themselves, and you've locked yourself into the psychological state of being enslaved to a system. You've locked yourself away from your family and your culture because they're at work and you're at school, and now you're bombarded with technology and social media and all this other shit. Now you're clean slate. You're a blank slate looking for something to fill your reality with. And you fill it with whatever's available and whatever's normal, because your friends that you made in high school and all that other shit, and they're all doing the same thing. And just as easily as your family members, your parents want you to do what the system is so you can be successful within the system, your friends, your peer groups in the school program do the same thing to you. And then you do that shit to your kids. It's an ongoing process, separating you from your dreams, separating you from your reality. Which, when you're separated from your dreams, which is actual light, you are experiencing a light experience when you're in your dream. That's literally, on every way, it's light. Like, you can wake up from a lucid dream where you were flying somewhere, or you were at a beach, or you were, like, I don't know, playing baseball or something. You're laying in your fucking bed, though. That's you, like your body, like like your body, who you think you are, the people who are locked into the physical reality. The you that you think you are when you're putting makeup on your face, when you're putting those new shoes on your feet, like that whole idea was laying in bed in like a catatonic space, but you were literally you were also playing baseball or at a beach or whatever you were. If you have a fucked up dream, you were working at Home Depot, like you were yesterday. Like when I used to work at Home Depot, I used to have those dreams. It was ridiculous. Anyway, That's another world. Another way we lock ourselves away from our dreams is to get into that space. Because you can realize if you are in nature, you'd be dreaming with tree spirits and the river, water spirits, and the natural spirits and all that stuff. The energies that are natural to our experience. It's a different world. It's lighter. So you are actually experiencing light. So when you are locked into a grid that is based upon experiencing density and demonizing light and demonizing your soul and demonizing what is outside of the normalization system, the control grid, locked all the way down, even further into the colonial grid in that whole space, even further into the racism system and sexism system and that whole thing. These are all illusions to separate you. The biggest main thing is to densify your reality and separate you from your soul, to flip upside down and backwards who you think you are, and make you the more you of the you that they created, and less you of the you that was existing forever before you even got here. The you that you think you are. So, yeah. So that was a good setup for this dream, because it's a pretty quick dream, and it's basic, and it's as of now, it's my favorite dream, because when I told it to my mom, it took a different light. Like, it took it, because I remember it, and I might as well just go, because this is a whole dream or a whole dream video. When I wake up from a dream, I immediately start to see it abstract. Like, just don't try to interpret the dream at all. Just try to remember what happened. What are the most obvious things? And the way you can do that is you can run through catalogs of people, which is the easiest thing, because the people trigger everything. Like your family members, your friends, whatever, and you're like, oh, I was with this person or that person. And then that will give you an anchor point in a dream if they were with you in that dream. And then from that anchor point, you can pull the dream, you can walk backwards into the dream and piece it back together to remember it. So that's one of the things I do. And it all starts out abstract, because when you wake up, your body, your brain, your thought process is putting together your physical reality as who and what you are. Just like when you're born into this world, you're born on a blank slate, and then over the course of the next months and years, your parents put together who and what you are. Oh, here's little Billy, or here's little Sally, and they're oh yeah, he's such a funny little guy. He doesn't like his hat. It's so cute on his head. Like, they're making this person. But who was that soul before that soul was Billy? So when you wake up every morning, you are piecing together Billy again. Like, you're piecing that, because you have the rest of the day to live your life. You got shit to do. You gotta go here. You gotta do that. You gotta hurry up, and that's what the alarm clock does. It's like, you're up. You are up. You got shit. You better get up, or you're gonna be late. And that's what the snooze does a lot of the times too. You hit that snooze, you are just constantly trying to hold out, and like, because they're so tired. And anyway, the main thing with the alarm clock is it shocks you into this reality. So, and you don't have time or the space. You are automatically Billy. You're like, Billy, like, bam, 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 bam. It's like, Bill, Bill, Bill. Like, it's constant wake up. Get up, Billy. Get out of that shit. That's what this whole world is based upon. the time system, the artificial calendar, all this stuff. It's all based upon locking you here. So anyway, tracing back your dreams from when you wake up. So yeah, abstract first, and then the lighter you are in thought, the lighter you are in spirit, the easier it will be to trace back your dreams, because you won't be able, or you're not consistently trying to piece together you, in quotation marks, the you that is part of the physical reality. You're also in a meditative space, in a sense, when you're waking between dream space and waking up. That's like a transition, like you can feel yourself coming back into your body, in a sense. We just see it as your eyes are waking up, like you, the you that's you, is in your body and you're asleep. And then you wake up, your eyes open and you're up. But how I see it is that, like, you expand out into everything, and then when you're dreaming, and then you are everything when you are in dream space, and then when you wake up, everything comes back into your body as one experience. That's how you can experience an entire world. I've never really thought about it from that perspective until just now. But yeah, it's not as simple as you just waking up, because the you that's you is inside your body. The you that's you is actually expanded into everything in your dream space, and then you come back to the you that you think you are in your physical reality, to have a singular experience in this reality. So to trace that back, you're actually reconnecting with everything. And the easiest way to reconnect with everything is through your friends, the people who are also part of that everything, that conscious everything. So that's how I use, like, friends and family members in dreams to remember anchor points, to go back. So anyway, that's one way to retrace your dreams, but you can only get into that space. It's easier the earlier you do it. Like when you wake up really slowly, that's when you have enough time, because you haven't pieced together yourself yet. When you naturally wake up slowly, you're slowly piecing yourself together. It's more natural. It's normal to be waking up like an alarm clock and all that other stuff. But it's natural to slowly wake up, and to see that you're slowly waking up before you so-called slowly wake up, because you're slowly coming back into your space. There's another buffer area between when you wake up and when you start to wake up. It's like it's hard to explain, but it's there, and that's when you can, like, be in a dream. You can be kind of awake but still in a dream. That's kind of like where that place is. And if you can hold that space on a regular basis, that's another way to make your dreams easier to recall when you wake up, because you are still part of that in-between space. When you're transitioning, you're in that in-between space, so you're not anchored in your physical reality yet. So you can actually recall like 4 layers of dreams. You can recall a dream that was before the other dream, and the dream that was before that, and what led to that dream. And then you recall all those dreams. So when you fully wake up, then you can only have to remember the last dream, and then that will trigger the dream before that, and the dream before that, and the dream before that. And this is actually what happened in the dream that I'm getting ready to tell you right now. So, first dream that I remember, which is actually the last dream, because the first dream is the first dream that happened. The first dream that I remembered is 4 dreams back. This dream, I was running on a freeway, and my brother was in my peripherals. We were running on a freeway, and this freeway was in Africa. And I remember that because it was this long freeway. Imagine like the freeway that's in like True Lies, the movie True Lies, that big long freeway over the water in Florida. That movie True Lies did a whole thing on it. But that's the only like reference point that I don't know the name of that. Or the one that goes to the Florida Keys. Yeah, so that dream. So when I told my mom about the dream, that's the reference I used. She was all about movies and stuff. Anyway, so we're running on a freeway like that in Africa. And I remembered it wasn't like a regular freeway because there was a strip of glass, this heavy duty glass that had a green tint to it, and it was running along the side of the freeway. And that was for runners. That was on the side of so when you're running, you can actually like run on the glass. And it was like it had just rained there, but it was sunny now. And I was crossing the freeway to get over to that glass area so I can run to where we were going. And I remember my brother was just behind me. Like I couldn't turn around, and I just remember like his presence being there, and we were thinking like, oh, we're gonna run now. So I was thinking, am I gonna step on that glass? It doesn't look very safe. It looks like kind of weird. And then anyway, I was just like, oh, I'll just step on it. And then I also saw some runners coming towards me from the opposite direction. They were already running on it. And I can't remember what that runner said, but he said something to the woman he was running with. Something like normal, whatever it was. It was weird. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, let's just start running. So we ran. And the details are another way to pay attention to the more conscious you are of your reality, the more you pay attention to the details of your reality, the easier it will be to recall your dreams. Because in your dreams, when you pay attention to details, that's what makes you more lucid. So when people talk about, oh, the way you can remember or get it lucid into a dream is to flick the lights on, and the lights won't come on in the dream because it's a detail or whatever it is. Basically it's because the light is the experience as a whole, and you turning the light on and off doesn't do anything because you are that light experience. So that action of playing with that light switch is actually making you realize that you are in a dream because it's not working. That's basically just an example of details. So when you are conscious of details in your conscious reality, then when you are in your subconscious experience, which is your dream space, and you'll be able to trigger yourself into the reality because things will seem out of place. Things will seem different. So one of the main reasons why I got to remember that dream was because I was thinking like, this isn't real. This glass on this freeway is not normal. It's not part of my everyday reality. So what is it? Oh, I'm in a dream. So that's when I started to become more loose, and then also paying attention to those runners. And then eventually you get good enough to where it's just like, well, why can't I see my brother? Like I can feel him. And then that's another, it's like, oh, this is a dream right now. Because your peripherals, just like when you're awake, you see things in your peripherals, is because you're not focusing your physical eyes. You are actually seeing with your first eye and not trying to interpret with your thought patterns that are based upon the physical reality. You are just purely seeing your reality outside of your peripherals. That's why you can see things and all kinds of stuff. Things move really fast. You catch it. It's because it's your first eye catches it. So anyway, we're running down the freeway. Another thing is over time, and I know I keep going over tangents because this is a dream video now. So when you're crossing time or crossing distance and time over distance, that's another way to become lucid in the dream, because space doesn't move the same way that it does here in the physical reality. So things will feel like more floaty. You can traverse an entire mile in like a second. You can go from one experience to the next experience. And if you are in a dream where it's taking a good amount of time, like running a few blocks, then you also realize that you're not getting tired. You're not breathing hard. These are the details of your reality that you start to see. It's like, oh, I've ran a mile already. I should be tired. And so I should be breathing hard. But then you realize you're not really breathing hard at all. You're actually breathing very like, if at all, you're normal. And breathing is actually like an illusion. So anyway, that's just another way to trigger in your dream. But you have to, so if you're more conscious of your dreams or your breathing in your waking space, then you will be more conscious or have more of a chance to become lucid in a dream, when you realize that you're in a dream running and then you're not, and you're normally focusing on your breath, but you know what I mean. You're not breathing the way you would normally would. So that's a detail that can trigger you into a lucid dream. So anyway, we're running down the freeway. I'm looking at this whole freeway. I'm paying attention. I'm piecing together this thing like crazy. This is why I'm getting so lucid in a dream. Piecing it together, I'm like, oh, okay, I see that. This is not normal. Now it's starting to look like the Bay Bridge. This is weird. Why was I in Africa first? What are we doing out here? What's going on? Where's he at? Oh, okay, so right there. Oh, like, we'll just keep going. So get to where we're going, because once you get normal, once everything becomes normal and you've pieced together the entire dream, now you're ready to transition to the next dream. So we get to this school, and it's a college. It's like a university, and this is a theme of my dreams. Schools, hospitals, parties, hotels, and the elevator. And yeah, those are the main ones. There's like two more, but I don't remember what they are right now. But those are the main ones. Schools, it's like schools are like a main one. And hospitals for whatever reason, and hotel lobbies, and the elevators. Always in an elevator for some reason. Anyway, so we're at the school. I'm walking in the door first. He's walking in behind me. I can feel him there. And then I just remember he just took off. He like started walking around the school. And then I was thinking, well, I'll see him in a little bit. You know, we're here now. So we ran all the way here. So this is another thing like that you can pay attention to, is that this is another dream now. We're in another experience, but because it's weird. I haven't completely interpreted the in-between dreams space yet. But basically that's another layer of like, I'll piece it together sometime later. But for this dream, so we're in the dream, we're in the school, he's somewhere, and I just remember, okay, well, I'm supposed to walk around the school, check it out. All these people are walking around, checking it out, and being students and everything, and we're not students. We're just we're visiting, and we're just hanging out, looking like, oh, okay, yeah, everybody's going to their next class or whatever. And I was just going to walk to the back, walk up around, and then come back and go through the same door. And then I knew I was going to run into him on the way out. So I did that. I walked to the back. I walked up and around. I came down. I'm walking past all these students. I'm seeing that it's a college. I still haven't ran into him yet. I walk out of the door. And then I said, well, he'll catch up with me later. So, because I didn't see him. And then as I get outside, I'm walking through the parking lot. Now I transition into the parking lot of a hospital. So now I'm in a hospital. And I go into the hospital. I'm walking around. I go upstairs. I'm coming down the stairs. And as I'm coming down the stairs of this hospital, into the lobby of the hospital, I see these convalescent home ladies with stacks of trays of food in their hands. And they're like the nurses for the convalescent homes, like 7 of them. they're asking me. One of the ladies asked me, "Do you know where the rooms are for and how I heard it was, do you know where the rooms are for the old people?" Because they were like for the convalescent home, so they needed to go to the bay, or like the bay, the floor where the older people are, and then that was their food. So I was like, no, I don't work here, because they were talking to me like I work there. And I said, no, I don't actually work here. So I'm new here. I don't know where it is. That was my response. And then I felt bad because they were going to have to walk up all these floors and all this other stuff. And anyway, so I walk down the stairs. I see this door to my left open up. These open two doors, like hospital doors, open up. And there's a bunch of nurses in there. And that's where they had to go. That is their rooms. And I went back and I told the lady to hold the door open, the nurse. I said, hold the door open, because these ladies are looking for you, or the area you're in, so they can give these people this food. So she's like, okay. So I went back and I said, yelled to the ladies, the nurses, the other nurses with the food. I said, hey, this is the place you're looking for. So they were coming back down the stairs. And I was like, oh, thank you. We're going to have to walk up all those stairs to get all the way up there and do that. So they came back down, and they went in there, and they were giving them the food. And then I walked out. I'm still waiting for my brother, because he was supposed to meet me up there, just like in the school thing. I walk out. I walk out of the door, and then I transition into a funeral, and it's actually my brother's funeral, but it's in a different location, and I didn't realize this later. It's actually at my grandfather's backyard, and the garage wasn't there, and his casket was a lot smaller, and like if he was 10 or something, and I was setting up the stands for his. It was weird. This is where the dream get weird, but it's weird because it's metaphorically story. It's connected to the story. It'll link in a second, but his casket. This ceremony was his casket was gonna be inside of a pool, and there's like a ceremonial like pastor or whatever there, and I was setting up this blue and green stand, which were like little bowls, little cups, to where the casket would sit on top of these stands, so they won't like mess with the pool, because it was an inflatable pool with water in it, and the casket had to sit on these bowls, and then we had to figure out where to put these bowls so it would be fine. And that was like the majority of the beginning of that part of the dream. It's like, where do I put these things? And I could see where the bowls had been placed before, because there was a little outline and color. The bowls didn't quite actually fit. They were a little bit smaller than the outline. So I was just thinking like, okay, well, eventually it just came down to, it was like, this is where they go right here. And it was only in the front where the head part of it was. And then anyway, so I put those things there, and then the pastor got into the pool with me, and this pool was full of water, and he says, okay, it's time now, is this ready? Yeah. I was like, yeah. So he gets out, he steps out of the pool the other way, and then I swim. The pool's like emptying out now, and they're gonna do the ceremony. I go under the water, swim out to where the pool's emptying out, and I swim out of the area where it's like a water. It's like a never ending. Like the pool is emptying, the water is emptying out of the pool, but the pool is never. It's never getting lower. Like it's forever full. So I go out to where the water's rushing out, and I stand up, and then they're doing the ceremony. As the ceremony's going on, I realize that he's ready to like finish the ceremony and then put his casket in the pool with the water, and I visualize it happening. It's not happened yet in the dream, but that's what they're getting ready to do. But they first had to do the ceremony first. So yeah, so he that's all happening. I walk into the house area, which is actually looks like a bar and grill or something like that. And my pops was sitting there, and I looked down at his phone, and he got a text message about playing baseball or something like that. And I walked out. We didn't say much. He was sitting next to another family member. I don't know who it was. It looked like an old school bar, like an old Western bar or something like that. And it matched up with the casket because the casket was like an old West casket, like a small one, like basic. And so that was the next part of the dream, me walking into that place, and then seeing seeing that text message and then baseball. I was like, oh, and then I got to go back outside. So I go back outside, and I'm walking up to where the pool was. Is in the back of my grandfather's house, and everything's done. Like the ceremony's over with. Nobody's there. I'm the only one there. And as I'm walking up, I see a friend of mine that I was in the army with. He's walking away from where the ceremony was to give me my space there, and he was also paying his respect there. And that individual never met my brother. He was just a friend of mine from back in the day. So I'm walking up, and I see everything, and I sit down on a piece of wood that is the same piece of wood, same material that was used for the casket. I'm sitting. There's a whole bunch of this wood down there by the creek in the backyard, in the back of my grandfather's house. I'm sitting there where everything was, and I'm just like, I trigger myself into being lucid in the dream because I see my friend walking away, and I realize, oh, he's paying respects. Oh, okay, yeah. So that's what I'm piecing together the dream as I'm walking back there. As I'm piecing together that dream and sitting down, I start piecing together all of the dreams that I was just in, and I start analyzing all of the dreams from within that dream, which makes me more lucid because that's what I normally do when I wake up. So whatever you normally do when you wake up, as far as your conscious reality, as far as paying attention to the details of your reality, that's what's going to happen in your dream space, in some kind of way. So every day I'm analyzing, or at least being open to analyzing my dreams. So when I'm in that dream, I start to I think about what's going on, and I remember, oh, this was the ceremony for my brother, and it just happened, and nobody's here, and everything's okay now. Oh, and also the tone of that ceremony was a celebration. It was a birth. That was another thing I forgot. It's hard to explain now because I'm feeling kind of sad right now, or because of having to tell this over again. But in the dream, as the ceremony was going, like everybody was happy, like that was like a celebration. Like his death wasn't a death, like I say about about any other death. It's always a birth. Everything is always a birth. There is no death. You only think it's a death because you perceive your reality from the foundation and the perspective of this being who you are, who and what you are, and not realizing that you are forever on that journey. So in the dream space, the tone and everything, like the pastor, like setting up those stands, like being in that pool and everything, it was basically how you would feel for having a birth, like being getting ready for a kid to be born. And I didn't say that part to my mom as when I was telling the dream before, but that's exactly how it felt It's like somebody being born. Like, whoa, okay, but it was weird. So anyway, yeah. So back to the now point of the dreams. I'm walking back, so I'm sitting there, and I start piecing together all the dreams. I said, wait a second. This just happened, this pool thing, and I remember trying to put those stands there. This is weird. And then, what was before that? Oh, I was at the school, yeah, and I remember, oh, I was at the hospital. Oh, yeah, and those ladies with the food. I was like, oh, yeah. I started to piece together all this stuff because I'm in my in-between waking space, but I'm still dreaming. So in that in-between space, as I'm piecing together everything and realizing that this whole thing is a dream, and I'm remembering all those dreams, and that my brother was with me the entire time, and my friend walked away from there. He was paying his respects, and then I was thinking like, oh, I'm sitting here now. This would be a good moment to pay my respects and just sit here and just be here. And in that space, I started to cry, and I remember thinking like the velocity of my grief, my tears and crying space was different. I'm analyzing it now. I'm thinking like, man, this is, or in the dream I was doing the same thing. I was like, man, this feels like weird because I'm still in between waking up and being in the dream. I'm still anchored in the dream, so but I'm perceiving it from also being awake. So I'm like crying in the dream, being like, man, this is intense, and I'm analyzing it now because I'm getting ready to wake up, and I know this crying spell is going to wake me up. And in that slow transition of waking up, as I'm still there, I'm extending it because I'm holding that space, and I'm realizing that, man, this is why we don't experience. This is why we have to slow down our reality and our perceptions into the physical reality in order to have an experience that will balance out the ability to experience emotion from a physical space. You can't remember everything. You can't hold on to everything in one moment. You can't have all of your experience all at once. You have to have a space, gaps in between your reality, ups and downs, in order to be able to fully experience a reality based upon the experience. Because if you are everything in every moment, then that's not really an experience. That's just a solid state soul. So to go back and forth between your soul and understanding your soul and having a physical body is how you can experience a reality, and also be infinite in that space. Like you can be that space, but also have the idea of being who you are or what you are, like your Billy or your whoever you are. To go back and forth into that space. So yeah, I was just like, man, this is. So I started to feel that in that space, because it was like, man, if I was here and I was experiencing grief like this every day, this is very painful. Like it would last so long. It would be so intense, because that crying spell, just like when it's the same thing of waking up out of a nightmare from fear. So when you wake up out of a nightmare from fear, that's an intense, like it's a shock, and then you wake up. But you can wake out of dreams. People wake up out of dreams from laughter. So you're waking out of the shock of, like you wake up laughing, or you wake up, whatever it is. So it's about your emotions, and in order to have an experience to where you can balance out emotion and the infinite space of who and what you are, we have these physical vessels and your thought processes. and your idea of emotion. This is what I was saying, like in a previous video, the water star emotion, and the stars being your ancestors, the solid state version of you, your soul, the stars existing suspended in the animation of the space that we perceive from here above, the darkness of space, and the light being your soul, in between this realm and the next. So in order to have this experience that we're in right now, which we are all choosing to be a part of and learning from in the school, which is the repetitive theme, and this is the other part that came later, the school part. You come here to learn. You also come here to heal. You come here to understand. You come here to assist others with your soul journey, your soul group, to be a part of that family, and then be born into the next realm. So this is that story that I was downloading from my brother in that dream space, and this being his birthday, which is what actually made me wake up even more so in that dream, in that crying spell, because that's when I realized this is really intense. This was really set up by like the relationship between me and my brother, and this is really intense. And oh yeah, and this is his birthday. That's what woke me up out of that crying spell in the dream. So I woke up and I wasn't crying. I just started to immediately try to remember the rest of the dreams, all of them, put them back together, abstract first, and then eventually let them fall into where they will be later on. But yeah, this is that was the dream. That was the whole dream space last night, and that was the connection that I had with. That was the information that I got with interpreting, what that's all about, and then shrinking it all down. It's really about life at the same time, because our life that we had here. It's like you start off, you're just running, you're on like a freeway, and then you go to school. That actually kind of slows you down, and then you learn from that school, and then you also go into the hospital where you start to heal yourself from what you learned with. So not literally like school, but learning from life. And then from that expansion in consciousness, from what you learn in life, then you can start to heal yourself, and you can start to help others heal too. And that's the hospital experience, or because dreams are all basically metaphorical, and it's the only way it's a linear reality is because the linear reality, or part of the part of this experience, is a linear reality, and then not everything is linear. You have curves and colors and sounds and smell and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I guess this is just how I break down dreams, and how light, the soul light, can experience a physical reality. And this is what I feel the Warriors of the Rainbow was basically kind of explaining. It's like it has nothing to do with like the basic normalized versions of the rainbow, but like light as a whole, like your chakras, the rainbow, the root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, first eye, and the crown, the colors, that rainbow expression of who you are is what I'm feeling, is what this prophecy is based upon. And this is what's happening individually and collectively. So when the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come unto the earth from many colors, classes, creeds, and who are by their action and deeds shall make the earth green again, which is another version of saying expressing your heart, feeling your heart. They'll be known as the warriors of the rainbow. So people, this is the balance of consciousness as a whole and the individuals as a whole. We come down here to experience individually. We choose our experience. Some people want to go through, having a reality based upon, working on the root chakra, healing themselves and learning from root spaces and activating all of their experiences, all of their energy centers from one perspective, and then going in and out, in and out, in and out between all of those different energy centers, and then that happens individually on each soul. But when you understand that everybody is one experience at the same time, one collective consciousness, and that there's a harmony there, there's a balance there. So you are existing as one warrior of the rainbow, one rainbow in a sense. Choosing your reality. Are you going to go more towards expansion, or are you going to go more towards contraction, being more centered on your idea of yourself? You're choosing whatever it is. In each thought, each action, each interaction, each dream, and then that expanded toward times 7 billion, or every individual soul in this experience has a color, has a system, has a purpose, has a meaning, has a harmonic. And outside of that, that's what's natural on the soul space. And the reason why we don't see it from that reality is because we get into the world of what's normal. And what's normal is to turn you into lines, structure, boxes, take away your colors and your art and your energy centers and turn it into an idea of yourself that is not who and what you are. It's separating you from your dreams, separating you from nature, culture, your ancient ancestors, your ancient cosmologies, the earth plane itself, your own memory banks with stuff like the Mandela effect and your connections to consciousness as a whole, and buying into the system of enslavement with like CERN and transhumanism technology. This is all parts that separate you from nature and lock you into what's normal. So for people who are asking a lot of the times, like, well, so what are we going to do? Like stuff like that. And I always go back to first do one thing at a time. You can only do one thing at a time. The first thing that's good for me to be doing, and that I would recommend for a lot of people to do, is go into yourself, find your connections to who and what you are, your own harmonics, your own basic space, so that when we do get to where we start to activate what it is we call solutions, then they'll be from a space that is more representative of our true roots and not representative of a reactionary perspective or an emotional perspective that is actually more dense and is limited and is based upon that. That's based upon this artificial version of reality, not our true organic reality. So start there, one thing at a time, and we'll start balancing out all this stuff. Before we can start building anything, we have to start balancing out what is natural. If we start building on a system that is normal or in reaction to the implosion of the system that was normal, then you will fall into that quicksand and you won't have any steady foundations, because you still won't have any natural roots to activate or understand. This is why it's so crucial to understand truly when people ask, well, if the earth is flat, what does it matter? Like, what do we mean, what does it matter? That's like, it's a pretty big deal. And it's not necessarily about the shape. It goes into like your creative intelligence, the creative intelligence as a whole, your relationship to this place, like what it all means, like what is the design, like why? So many other things that don't matter anymore if you start to question your reality of the globe model. And that's why it matters. So there's all these storylines that are existing at the same time, and I just wanted to link it all in together in reference to dreams and just share that. So thank you for joining me, and thank you from everybody who's been supporting me and sharing the videos and sharing comments and support. I really appreciate you. And until next time, from all my relations, peace, love, and harmony.